is up, players? Welcome back. So in the last video we actually pulled in some of the information, some of the data, some of the textures and mesh stuff for Bloodgulch. And so this video we're going to be actually expanding on that. So adding detail maps, we'll create a new shader for this ground here and start to make this look a little bit more like the actual halo. So speaking of the actual halo, let's jump into that real quick. So I have Halo CE running, and what we're going to be doing is, so if you take a look at these textures here, so from far away they look one way, and then as you get closer you see they have these details, so it's a detail map. So we'll be adding that, and then we'll create a custom shader using shader graph for the ground texture. So you see how it goes from grass over to sand. We need to create that kind of effect. So that's what we'll be doing. All right. So over in Unity, the first thing we'll kind of touch on is just a detail map. So taking a look at this metal piece that we just saw in game. So it has this cap metal. There we go, cap metal. And actually the URP shader itself already has detail inputs. So that's pretty nice, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to select this. We want to do detail metal, which I believe is this one. And we'll just start off saying tin, see how that kind of looks. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So from nothing to 10, it does brighten things up a little bit, but I think that's okay for now. So we'll just set this to 1. And now when you zoom out, so you have that nice kind of effect, but then when you're close in, you have the details there. So that's pretty nice. So now I'm going to texture everything and I'll be back. Looking pretty good. This actually looks like the base. It has this nice kind of shininess out here. Yeah, it's looking really good. All right, so now take a look at this ground piece. So somehow we have to mix sand with grass, and this is where we'll have to create a new shader. So I'm going to pop over into my ROL, which is Ring of Light. And I'm going to create a new folder called shaders. We're going to create a new shader. It's going to be a lit shader. And we're going to call this masks. Whoops. masked multi detail. So it's detail map, multi-detail maps that are masked. So we will open this up. All right, so first things first, let's think about what kind of inputs we're going to have. So we know that we're going to have that base ground map. So looking at the scene here, this color that's applied to the ground right now. And we know that we're going to have two detail maps to add. So one with grass, one with sand, and then we'll have to blend them. So over here, let's just go ahead and we'll just do a texture. This is going to be the base map. We'll add in another texture, which is going to be the grass, but we want this to be pretty generic, so we'll just call it detail 1. We'll add a third one, which will be our detail 2. And for this particular shader, we're going to assume that the base map will have the information in order to mask or blend these two, which it does. It's actually in the alpha channel. So we'll go ahead and click save. So base map, detail map 2. Create a new node. We need a texture node, texture sampler. Yep, this will do. I'm going to kind of split these up just a little bit. Yep, so we have all of our maps here. All right, let's take a look. Our base map, let's go ahead and pull this in from here. So this is our Bloodgulch base map. We have our detailed grass, and we have detailed sand here. All right, so if we just go ahead and drag this to here, we'll see, let's see if I can move this stuff around just a little bit. They don't leave you a whole lot of room here, I guess, to play around with it. That's okay. All right, so here's what we have so far. So the goal is to actually use the alpha channel. So let's go ahead and split the alpha channel out, because we'll probably need that at some point anyways. And we know the alpha channel actually has some information. So if I go to this ground here, I will show you. So there's the alpha. So it looks like the sand is the white and the grass is going to be the dark color. So in that case, what we want to do is we're going to want to do a multiply here. And so the reason I say multiply is because we want the grass to show through whenever something is white, and we want the sand to show through when something is white. So we multiply white times the sand color, and we just get back the sand color. Wherever it's black, it'll be masked out. So in this case, the sand is actually this white texture here. So we're just going to input the alpha down here, and we are going to multiply that times the sand, and all right, let me move this around here. All right, so the output, this looks, you know what, let's just multiply this directly here. I just want to see what it does. Yeah, okay, that is pretty much what we want here. So something funky is going on. If I split the alpha, it should only grab the alpha, right? Oh, the alpha's right there. I'm silly. I don't need this splitter at all, do I? Or do I? Wait a minute. So let's go ahead and duplicate this, actually. And, you know, I'm new to shader graphs, so you're just sitting here learning with me as I go along. So this is working great for the sand, right? We want the sand to show up on all the wide areas, which is this sandy area here. So the next piece, let me move this over. Oh, I cannot make that any larger. Okay, we'll just reduce that then. Okay, but the grass we need to be the opposite. So what we're gonna do is look for some sort of invert. Okay, that's good, invert colors. and we're going to shove the alpha in here. I don't know, why is it red? That is odd. Split. There we go. All right, yeah, so this is actually, that's perfect. I don't know why it says red here. Seems like it would be alpha. I'm not sure, and that's okay. I'm gonna scoot these over. So anyways, I want this output to go into here, and I want this to go into here. All right, this is looking really good, right? So we have the grass in the green areas of the main texture here, and then we have the sand in the sandy areas. So we are looking really good here. One thing that we have left to do though is we need to blend these. So we have these two here, and now we're going to need a blend node. All right, so our base map is going to be, do we need two blends? This is, no wait, this can't be right. Maybe, I know what we need to do. Let's add them. We'll add them together because we need to add this with this in order to get one texture out. So we will add this with this. Okay, this is what we want. Yep. So we have the sand, we have the grass. This is looking pretty good here. And now we just need to blend these with the base map. So the base map here, we need to blend with the additive. Yeah, overlay that looks pretty good. So I think this is what we want actually. So this is looking pretty dang good here. So we have grass where we want grass. We have sand where we want sand. Yeah, so this is good. Let's go ahead and save this, and let's pop back over to the scene. Let's go down to, we have our shaders, but we need, I'll just click this. It's faster at the ground. Okay, so this is the masked multi-detail. Ooh, yep, that's it. We are done. Look at that. We went from that to that, and yeah. Okay, so we're able to assign these masks. This is, or these maps over here. This is good. But we're still missing a lot of options here, because one thing we want to do is we want the sand to obviously be like a detail map. So when you control its tiling separate from the base map here. So popping back over here, we need to add in vector 3. We'll do detail 1 scale. Okay, and this will go with this detail map. We want this to be oh, actually, I guess we need to be with the UVs. So let's see here, a UV. Okay, UV, this is good. Actually, that's not quite good, because we need to multiply it with the scale. So like that. Yes, okay. So we multiply. Let's set the scale so it's like, we'll just say 30. I don't know how well this will work, but that's okay. So we're gonna multiply that times that. UV1 seems like the right thing. I mean, this is what we want, this kind of crazy scaled grass. So that makes sense to me. And maybe, it's kind of hard to tell what this looks like. I wonder if I can do the output into UVs. No, I think this is how you would do it. This looks okay. So we'll actually just duplicate this, and we're going to drag it down here. So we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to create one for detail 2 scale. Okay, and we'll just multiply that times that. Boom, shove that in there. And we want this detailed scale to be, yeah, we're doing the same thing. So we'll do 30. Boom, 30. Okay, let's save this asset now. And let's pop back over to the scene. All right, this is looking good. Yeah, it's super shiny, which is exactly what we wanted, right? Looks like fog. Nope, but the key here is that looks really nice. We've got the sand mixing with the grass. This is what we wanted. And so now we just need to make some adjustments to the PBR part of this. So we'll actually move these over here a little bit. So let's take a look at what we got here in our fragment shader, or fragment part of the shader. We have metallic, we have smoothness, emission, ambient occlusion, normal space. We will want to add a normal map, but before we do that, let's go ahead and add in a float for metallic and a float for smoothness. And that way we can control these inputs, or control these values with inputs. That'll be pretty nice. Both of them we want to be set to 0, so that's good. We'll save that, just pop back over here. Ah, perfect. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I think the sand could be a little bit better as far as the scale, so maybe we'll do 40. That looks pretty good to me. Looks better anyways. I'm actually gonna pop back over to Halo real quick. Yeah, so that sand is all right. Sand's pretty good. I might even do 50. And the grass seems like it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good right there. All right, very good. And now the last part is to add a normal map. So going back over here, we'll need a texture 2D, and we'll call this normal bump. Sure. So we have our normal map. We'll need a texture 2D sampler. And this one we do want it to be in tangent space because it will be a normal map. And I believe that will be it. So we'll save that asset. Go back over here to scene. All right, so yeah, we're just missing a normal map here. And oh yes, I guess we will also want to control the normal map scale. So we'll just add another vector 3 in here. And you know what? Actually, so something I noticed with those vector 3s is this adds a bunch of information. So maybe we'll do a vector 2. Why did I not rename that? I don't know. Normal scale. So we'll actually do the same thing over here where we multiply the UVs times the normal scale. Duplicate this, drag it over here, boom, UVs. Okay, so this is nice, right? This looks a lot better. It's actually using 2 instead of 3. So I think I will go here. Can I change this somehow to a, nope, I cannot. And that's okay. So we'll just remake this. Detail 1 scale. Yeah, and it's gonna complain about the name essentially. And that's okay. We'll fix that. Delete that. Delete that. We'll rename it. All right. Yeah, I like that a lot better. So because the UV maps, they're all 2D, not 4D, which is what it seemed to be doing before, which is not what I wanted. We'll call that one 2-1. That way I can just click and drag that. Get rid of that one. All right. And boom. Okay. We want this to be, I think we're saying 50. Or maybe this is just supposed to be 1, and then I set it to 50 over here. That makes more sense, actually. This scale. This one, at least we want it to be 1. Let's save this asset. All right, let's go back to our scene. Okay. Interesting. I still see Z and W here, and I don't really know why. Oh wait, this is also here again. Huh. Interesting. Oh, I did not delete it. That would be why. This is our detail 2 scale. There we go. Alright, that's looking better. So pop back, there we go, to our scene. We'll say 40-40. And we think the sand is 50-50 as far as scaling goes. Alright, and we have our metallic, our smoothness. Let's add a normal map. So we don't really have a good normal map here. Maybe we'll try and use just this detail ground and see how that goes. Let's try and take a look at this actually, because it's quite hard to tell. Maybe I'll bump this up to, I want to see if I could tell what the normal map looks like. Oh, it'd be helpful if I scaled it. Right, so we'll just say 40. And yeah, the normal map, that really just does not look very good. I know this is not an actual normal map, so that's definitely not helping. And maybe, I mean, we could do metal flat for now. I don't think that looks very good. Oh, I thought there was a third normal map that we can use. Whoops. That is not what I meant to do. Let's just do this cliff rock one for now. And obviously I need to put this back at 0. I just wanted to see how that normal map actually looked. And yeah, it doesn't look that great. So we'll probably need to find another normal map. But for now, we'll just turn it off. That looks pretty good. Let's see, what else do we have? We have these cliff walls. So they don't need to be shiny or anything like that. So no metallic. That's not even needed at all. But we do want to use these cliff rock normal maps. And we definitely want to add a detail mask. So let's take a look at what we have here. There's detail cliff rock smooth. Both of these are pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure we want to use this one. Let's tile it by at least 10, although it's probably tiled even more in game. Actually, that might be okay. 10 does not look too bad. Yep, that actually looks pretty good. The normal map is there. Cliff rock normal. Yeah. All right. This is looking really good actually. Let's go back over here, check out the red base. We will have to make some adjustments to this. We need to add in the floor with the normal map. And I believe we had it set to 15, if I'm not mistaken. the smoothness was like something really small, like 0.05, I believe. It is metal, so I wonder if I, oh wow. Smoothness would be like nothing. Maybe it was metal that we put at 0.05. We'll just put them both. At 0.05. All right. Ah, yes, the lights. So go to the red lights. We definitely want these to be transparent. Alpha is good. All that is good. Let's go to our base map here. We need to grayscale it. So boom. Go back to our material again. Add some emission. This is the red team, so I would like it to show up as a nice red color here. Although it's a little bit bright. So tone it down just a little bit. There we go. Alright, man, this is looking really good. We pretty much have all these textures sorted out. We will have to come back later. I'll find a different ground normal map. But I think so far everything's looking pretty good. I do want to check this real quick. This looks really shiny. This piece right there, yeah. Middle generic does not have a specular map, but I think it should. Yeah, okay, that looks much better. Alright, I think we're looking good here. One thing we do need to check on is the scale. So what we'll do is we're just going to drop in a nice little cube here. And god dang, where is that thing? That thing's way down there. We'll move this over here. So Master Chief is roughly 2 meters tall. So if we take a look at this cube, yeah, this is looking pretty massive then. So if we take this cube and we scale it on the y-axis by 2, this is about the size of Master Chief. He may be a little bit more than that, but in general, that's pretty accurate. So clearly the BSP is too large. I'm going to throw this into the Bloodgulch thing here. We're going to scale this bad boy down just a little bit more. Now I'll actually scale it by half of what it is now. So 0.05. Okay. We'll focus in on this cube. And we'll actually pull it back out. And we do want it to be 1, 2, and 1. That's still pretty large. You notice that now I can actually see all these shadows, so that is definitely good, because before they would be cut off. See it there, it's cut off. And we'll have to go back and maybe edit some of the shadow settings. But this still looks too big, I think. Let's pop over here to Google, and we're gonna look up just Halo Bloodgulch, and what we're looking for really, is just an image of the Master Chief standing somewhere in Bloodgulch. So maybe we'll look up Bloodgulch base, see what we can find here. Gosh, I'm not finding anything that I'm looking for. It doesn't show anyone down there, does it? I don't think so. Well, shoot. I was hoping we could find a picture to get an idea of just how tall is the Master Chief compared to the base, really. So what we're going to do is we'll just pop in game here. We'll take a look. So we know that I'll have to be able to run up this ramp. And when I run up, my head almost touches here. So this should be like maybe 2.5 meters tall. So we'll base it on that. Another good idea maybe is to look at the portal although it seems twice as tall as me. So we will see here. Just trying to get a reference based on how tall other things are. Of course, we'll be able to adjust this a little bit later once we actually import the mesh for the Master Chief. But I did want to have this set up to be somewhat the same size. So yeah, so this still looks, I don't know, actually, you know, maybe that's not too bad, because when he was standing up here, he was about half as high as, not that one, he was half as high as this. Okay, so it's still a little bit large. We'll actually, once again, throw the cube into here. We'll try 0.3. So once again, you know, this is something you could do in your 3D editing software, you know, if you would like. But for now, I mean, this works out pretty well for me, just as I'm trying to get things to scale somewhat properly. So this looks better to me. This looks like if that were the Master Chief, he'd probably be standing there. I think he's a little bit taller than this, but this is looking much better. As I stood over here, I was like about halfway. Yeah, this looks good. So we'll keep this cube in here as our, we'll rename it to ref size. So that's approximately the size of the Master Chief. But now I really like this because the shadows are starting to show up, and that's definitely a good thing. And while we're on the shadows, let's take a look here back in Halo and see exactly where the sun is. Okay, so it's, if this is blue base, it is almost directly in that direction from blue base. So we will go to blue base over here. So if I look this way, it's about right there. So our directional light, whoa, it's way over here at 0.3. That actually makes sense. Why don't we go ahead and move this over to 0.0 as well. Which somehow puts it over there, which doesn't make much sense to me, considering that really this light is like at 0.0. So whatever, we'll just drag it over here. So this looks a lot better. So our directional light, let's rotate this in the world coordinates here. It's more like, let's see if I'm at the blue base. Yeah, this looks more correct. I'm going to move it actually into where I think it's sitting. So I'm looking at blue base. It's not directly here. It's kind of off to the side. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to turn it just a slight bit. So if we look at these shadows, this kind of makes sense, except it's maybe tilted a little bit more. Let's just go in to Halo again, and we'll walk up here. So the light maps, yeah, I mean, they're so low resolution, that's kind of hard to tell. But this comes all the way out here to that tree almost. So, oh, interesting. So it does actually come out, but the geometry is missing here. So we'll just have to make some adjustments later to fix that. But I don't like how I can't see the shadows right now. Like, that's kind of annoying. So I will go ahead and go set up some new lighting settings actually. So we'll just go over to our levels, Bloodgulch, new lighting settings. We'll actually call them Bloodgulch. We'll open this up in the inspector. blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's great and all, but what we really need is some URP settings. So let's go to our settings here. We want to create a new, so let's create a new one. We'll go to create rendering universal render pipeline asset, and we'll call this Halo High. So this is be the high settings, so high quality. We will now pop that over here. All right, boom, boom, boom. Let's go to our quality. Whereas this looks pretty good. And skybox, that's not what we want. What am I looking for here? So I see shadow mask. I'm looking for the shadow settings, which is, I thought would either be in lighting or, you know what, let's just open up, is it this one? Shadows. Oh, this is for post-processing. That's the one. Oh, here we go. Okay, so lighting, shadows, max distance. Let's just go ahead and put it something crazy high. Cascades. Let's go with 3 here. And this is all good. Shadow resolution. Let's hit it really high. So I'm doing this just so I can actually see all these shadows. It just works out a lot better that way. And I think our directional light actually is too high up somehow. Okay, that is looking pretty good. Maybe we'll turn it just a little bit. All right, soft shadows, hard shadows. Soft shadows are obviously nice. Near plane, well, I'm not even sure what that does. Strength, all the way up is good. One thing I notice here is that there's some lines going on because the geometry is separated. So we'll have to look into how we can fix that. It could be part of this. Okay, so anti-aliasing. That's not for shadows, but that's okay. Cascading, soft shadows. Wow, that actually seemed to make it worse. Normal bias. Oh, okay, so if we turn this down, that actually seemed to fix it, which is really nice. Got soft shadows. Okay, this is looking good. So we have fixed the scale. We've made sure everything's textured. This blue is looking a little bit too bright for me, so while I'm here, I will quickly make some adjustments on the saturation. There we go, that's looking a little bit better. Yeah, so we've fixed all the textures. We've added in detail maps, normal maps, some specular. We've adjusted the scale of the map. We've set up the lighting, the shadows and all of that. So it's looking pretty good. I think the last little bit that we need to do for this level, is the sky. So we will work on that next time, and we'll actually import the skybox model and apply all the textures that we need for that. And then this level will be pretty much ready as far as the main structures. We'll of course have to go and add some scenery items and some other things, but overall it is looking very good. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.